Okay guys, this is the PVC version of a pest control unit for tubes in the wall. I've been asked to show a video of it, so here it is. Basically the nozzle here, you can see, is made up of simply an air hose with a basketball or a football needle valve that's been modified slightly to fit the tubes, and just some basic plumbing fittings and valves and some hose. That's the basic nozzle setup. Pretty easy to do. Over here, this side of the tank, we have a pressure regulator. Can be had for $5 or $6 at Harbor Freight, fairly cheap. Here, this is a check valve, brass check valve in this section. That is to prevent any liquid from going back into the air tank. Okay, that's basically that side, and on this side we have a pressure gauge, shows vacuum as well as pressure. This came off an old HVAC manifold that I had laying around. I'm sure you can buy them on eBay or whatever. This particular check valve, not check valve but pressure relief valve and Schrader, came off of a pressure tank, also from Harbor Freight, I believe. Again, these things can be purchased online, eBay or whatever, as well as the fittings. Most expensive part are the brass fittings. One thing you need to notice here is the thread into the PVC. That anything I drilled and tapped into the PVC was done into a double wall thickness of the PVC for obvious reasons. And over here on this side we have the two pressure hoses. Okay, that's basically what they are. I used refrigeration fitting over here for my vacuum pump to put this into a vacuum, this section. And the reason I put this section into a vacuum is so I can suck the liquid in without having to have a fill cap of some sort. Again, that's your option. You can do it either way. And that's it. This particular tube here is actually the fill tube suction. After the thing is put into a vacuum, you can suck it out of a gallon jug like I do here, mixed up. Of course, I have a little vacuum pump. I'm an old HVAC guy, and I got some HVAC tools laying around. Again, you don't need this pump if you use a fill cap of some sort. Again, entirely up to you. I've been using PVC in the industry for some 40 years and never had a problem with it as a pressurized vessel. Of course, I don't put that much pressure in it. I'm working mine at around 90 pounds, and I'm regulated around 60 pounds coming out the other end for when I do the tubes, which seems to be adequate for the chemical to be dispersed properly. Like I said, this unit is designed simply for a homeowner. It's not a commercial unit. I do a few for my family, friends. Worked great. Been in service a couple years now. The PVC is 4-inch. I guess it holds just about almost a gallon of chemical, which I use on the whole house. Spraying outside as well as the tubes. And I'll run a little tape measure here to see how long this thing is. It's about somewhere about 25 inches long overall. Plenty enough for the liquid, plenty enough for the air pressure chamber, and plenty enough for the liquid. Basically that's it. I really don't know how much more I can explain to you guys, except the only thing that is important on this is the check valve, like I pointed out earlier. So when we put this unit into a vacuum, this is the only thing we're putting into a vacuum, although we do get some vacuum on this side, but the liquid cannot go back into the pressure side of the tank, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to isolate that. And basically that's it. I hope it works out for you. You can build a little wood frame if you want around your tubing. Oh, by the way, the burst pressure of PVC, I did some research on it. You have to make sure it's the original PVC. They have some corrugated stuff out there, and you don't want to be using that. This is solid plastic PVC and holds pressure real well. I think it's rated at something, a burst pressure of 700 psi or something like that, which I'm going nowhere near. Feel more comfortable not gluing the end caps, you can use threaded pipe. they do have that available. You know, I don't know how much experience people have with PVC, but I said I've used it over the years and never had a problem with it. And of course, I'm not dealing with that much pressure either. But in any pressure-related device, you want to be careful. Tubing can be had at the local hardware store too. Basically, that's it. And I made a little carrying strap for myself, so it's not easy to carry around. Do any modifications on it you want. And basically how it works, again, one more time, the system's put into a vacuum. Right here, isolates this as the vacuum vessel. At that time, there's a little valve here that after I stick the tube in my liquid, I open this up and it sucks all the liquid into the vacuum portion of the plastic. And this is the pressure side over here on this side. And a good gauge on this is pretty mandatory, because you want to see what